Before the class begins, we suggest that you have a Chinese character exercise book and a pen or pencil for writing. Hello everyone! Today we will start our lesson of Chinese characters. First, let's take a look at these characters. Are they just a random aggregation of lines? Well, as similar as they are to paintings, they are not. In fact, Chinese characters are composed of components and strokes. Strokes are the minimum units of Chinese characters. The strokes of Chinese characters are divided into basic strokes and compound strokes. These are the basic strokes. 基本笔画横竖撇捺点提 Now let's learn and try to write them. 横 The stroke 横 writes from left to right and should be smooth. Like the character yi, which means one. 竖 The stroke 竖 writes from top to bottom and should be straight. Like the second stroke of 10, which means 10. 撇 The stroke 撇 writes from top right to bottom left. Like the first stroke of 8, which means 8. 捺 The stroke 捺 writes from top left to bottom right and should be a little bit long. Like the second stroke of 8, which means 8. 点 The stroke 点 writes from top left downward right or from top right downward left and should be a little bit short. Like the first and the fourth stroke of 6, which means 6. 提 The stroke 提 writes from bottom left upward to top right. Like the fourth stroke of 我, which means I, me. Here are the basic strokes we have learned today. Have you got it? We have learned the basic strokes and some characters. Now let's take a look at some other characters. These are more complicated than those that we have learned, aren't they? That's because they are composed of compound strokes. 复合笔画 Compound strokes. So now let's learn and write the compound strokes. Please remember that what we are going to learn are the most commonly used compound strokes of Chinese characters, and that you don't have to remember all their names. The purpose is to learn how to write. So take out your exercise book and let's begin writing. 横钩 This is 横钩 It writes like the first stroke of 子 sun 横折 This is 横折 It writes like the first stroke of 马 horse 竖弯 This is 竖弯 It writes like the fourth stroke of 四 4 竖弯钩 This is 竖弯钩 It writes like the second stroke of 7 竖折折钩 This is 竖折折钩 It writes like the second stroke of 马 horse 横折弯钩 This is 横折弯钩 It writes like the second stroke of 9 9 撇点 This is 撇点 It writes like the first stroke of 女 female 横撇 This is 横撇 It writes like the first stroke of 右 again 撇折 This is 撇折 It writes like the third stroke of 云 cloud 竖提 This is 竖提 It writes like the first stroke of 以 to use, to take 竖钩 This is 竖钩 It writes like the fifth stroke of 你 you 横折钩 This is 横折钩 It writes like the third stroke of 问 to ask 横折题 This is 横折题 It writes like the second stroke of 认 to recognize 横折折撇 This is 横折折撇 It writes like the sixth stroke of 近 near Here are the most commonly used compound strokes we have learned today. Have you got it? So these are basically all the common strokes of Chinese characters. I'm sure that after some exercising, you will be able to write them correctly. That's all for today. See you next lesson.